The first semi-final on the men's is set, and it is, of course, Novak Djokovic versus Carlos Alcaraz. Everyone's writing Novak Djokovic off. Can he do what he's done in the past and shock the tennis world? I think we're in for a fantastic match.
That's right. It is the semi-final we were all hoping for, the blockbuster matchup. It's Novak Djokovic versus Carlos Alcaraz. We're here again in a semi-final stage, and it's always the same names, isn't it, JG? And Carlos Alcaraz yet to drop a set. We thought Lehechka, could this be the guy who suddenly starts troubling Carlos Alcaraz, maybe even takes a set? Well, no. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And it was 6-4, 6-2, 6-4, and another impeccable performance from the young Spaniard.
Yeah, I mean, this performance was scary. His outfit is class. The haircut's class. The tan, the whole vibe of Carlos Alcaraz. Him speaking after the match, saying how he likes watching his own highlights. I'm really buying into Carlos right now. And I thought the performance he produced against Jiří Lehečka, who, let's be fair, is a fantastic tennis player. He is a top 10 tennis player, someone who I think plays very good on all of the surfaces, who was hitting extremely clean, played fantastically up until this point, just did not have any answers. And you can draw some comparisons to what happened with Bublik against Sinner the other day. There's levels to this game. There's levels to this sport. And Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are in their own level completely. And I can't criticize Lehečka too much because he tried his best. And I thought in the first set, there was times where I thought maybe he might be able to take it. But I feel Alcaraz just had him at arm's length. And whenever he needed to, he can just push a little bit more. Some of the winners and shots from him was astonishing, really. Yeah, this is a good one. Just go up. So it hits a huge inside forehand winner against Lehečka at the US Open. To be able to produce this type of power while moving backwards is crazy. We've seen him in the round before hitting the shots behind his back. Yeah. He loves watching himself after the matches, which I thought was quite funny because I think in the way he plays, he tries to produce highlights. A little bit like a Gael Monfils. He is someone who generally just loves tennis. I feel when he's not playing, he's probably watching it. He's a real tennis fan, someone who wants to produce a great match for the spectators. And I don't feel like I can say the same about Jannik Sinner in that regard. I thought Jannik Sinner just wants to win over anything else, whereas Alcaraz, he wants to show and he just loves tennis.
He really does love tennis. This is what he said after the match when asked if he watches his own highlights. Said, I'm not, but sometimes when I go into the living room, my little brothers are watching, so I just sit down and watch with them. I mean, it's quite nice that his brothers are just sitting there watching his matches. I mean, what an inspiration as a brother, really. You got to think.
Carlos they all play tennis too, so
wow, could be the next big thing coming up. Who knows? One of the brothers could be coming through at some point. I wouldn't be shocked because they'll have a good mentor, let's put it that way, and somebody like Carlos Alcaraz. And he's only dropped one service game the entire tournament. He just looks like he could win the whole thing. Like, obviously, that's easy to say based upon the performance.
Who did he drop a set to, Ben?
No, service game.
Oh, service game. I was going to say, he's not dropped a set.
No, he's not dropped any sets on the way. And this is why it's scary when he's in this type of form. We normally have been saying Alcaraz, he's the type of player, he's a bit up and down, he drops a set here, he drops a set there. He's probably been listening and just thought, right, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to drop any sets on the way to the semi-finals. And it's his third US Open semi-final. Obviously, his first ever slam was at the US Open. We saw some epic matches where he was going to 5 sets in that one with Jannik Sinner, with TFO, and all of those great matches. But this one, you can see it's like a coming of age of Carlos Alcaraz. He's obliterating players, top tennis players on the tennis court right now. His 59th win of the year as well. I mean, it's enormous tennis. I agree.
Yeah, I don't feel like we can speak about Carlos Alcaraz without comparing him to Rafael Nadal. It is something we've always done, and everyone in the tennis world continues to do because they follow the same trajectory in their careers. And now Carlos Alcaraz has become the youngest man to reach a Grand Slam semi-final without dropping a set since Rafael Nadal in
Ding.
2008. So that's a huge stat. Definitely, I agree with the tennis letter.
Indeed. And Grand Slam semi-finals before turning 23 in the Open era. Rafael Nadal with 10, still leading the way, but Alcaraz not far behind there with 9. You got Boris Becker there on 10 as well. Mats Wilander, Bjorn Borg. Very small group. Will he be able to get to the same as Rafael Nadal before turning 23? That's the big question. It's going to happen, isn't it? Come on,
January,
it's going to happen. It's going to.
January.
And then the stat's going to come out again, and we're going to see it. Look at them.
In
Well,
January, we're doing another episode speaking about how he's now equaled Rafael Nadal.
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? And I like this statistic as well. I wasn't even aware of this. This is the first time in his career he's reached 10,000 points. Obviously, if he does better than Yannick Sinner in this tournament, he will finish as world number 1 at the end of this tournament. But he has to. It's probably going to be a final, essentially, if he does play him.
But for how dominant both Sinner and Alcaraz have been this year, to think that one of them won't be world number 1 is shocking.
Yeah.
What more can you do? I mean, the other one, he must be looking in the mirror thinking, I've pretty much won 99% of my matches this year. And yeah, I'm not going to be world number 1 come the end of the year. Because I think they're just simply that good.
Yep.
And it sort of goes nicely onto Novak Djokovic, if I can go on to him now.
Yeah.
Because he's hardly played this year, really, outside of the slams. He's played predominantly just the slams. And after the US Open, he's going to be top 4 in the ATP rankings and top 3 in the race, which I think just highlights how crazily good Novak Djokovic is still at his age. He's not at his best in terms of what we've seen in his career, but still, it's not too far off it. And when you're looking at Alcaraz and Sinner, there's no really debating right now. And I know I've said a few things to wind people up on here over the years, but there's no real debating that he is the 3rd best player in the world currently. And you can't really make a case for Zverev or Shelton or Dimonor or Lehechka or these other guys because Djokovic consistently does it. And he consistently does it against Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz is a young guy playing in America, beating everyone quite comfortably before that round. Just doesn't have it, does he? He's a top 10 player, Taylor Fritz. And yet he has nothing. Yeah. He can't lay a glove on Novak Djokovic in this matchup. 11 defeats in a row, never beaten him.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And I think we've got to just quickly mention as well for Djokovic, if we're talking about stats, that it's now 53 Grand Slam semi-finals for him. It's astonishing, these figures that he keeps on racking up, and he's 16-0 at the US Open versus Americans now as well. This performance from Djokovic, I know that he's playing it down quite a lot, and maybe he's realizing his age. Obviously, he knows he can probably beat quite a few players, but he's even said in the post-match presser when asked about obviously Alcaraz next and potentially Sinner in the final, he said, I've just got to wait and see how my body heals from this one first and see how I am. He said, I'm lucky I got 2 days to recover. And he said, I know I need to be able to go 5 sets on Friday. And that's with Carlos Alcaraz. This match against Fritz, though, I thought he played excellently. He said he didn't play his best. He said he didn't really feel the ball as well as he did in the last rounds. And he was pushing a little bit in the final set. And he got a bit lucky because Fritz double faulted to give him the match on match point, which was very sad for the crowd. And the crowd were against him the whole match. They were cheering every serve he missed, every second serve. They were just delaying. He had to wait about 10, 20 seconds or something.
The worst thing you can do to Novak Djokovic, agreed?
Yeah, I would totally agree. And here we go. He said, what are you going to do to the umpire? He said, The umpire said, "It's not going to help Novak." What? So he's just absolved himself of responsibility of trying to control the crowd by just saying it's not going to help. Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong, is he? What's he going to do to control a crowd of rowdy Americans
Yeah,
at
yeah,
night?
I think you're right, and it is a night match as well. But like you said, he just got riled up, and you can't rile Djokovic up because as soon as he won that first set, which I thought Taylor Fritz was going to break back. I thought this is typical. It was 5-2, and then it went pretty nearly 5-all. About 12 minutes that game until he
There
finally
was
took.
a 25 shot rally on break
Oh,
point, which was high level. Taylor Fritz, of course, losing it, and it just shows the mental resolve of the GOAT Novak Djokovic in these big moments. How he's able to dig in deep and consistently do it year on year is remarkable, and it will be something we'll speak about, I'm sure, for many years to come. Even when he does retire, we'll be watching back the videos like we do with Rafael Nadal and Federer, on how these great legends of the sport were able to zone in on these big moments. And I think you can all take lessons in the way they deal with these high pressure situations in any walk of life, not just tennis. And I often try to do that when I watch this level of sport, this level of competition.
yep.
And we're just very lucky that we're getting to see Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner produce this level so soon after the big three. Djokovic was asked about them too, and saying, "Are you expecting them in the final?" He says, "I know they're the two best players in the world. Everybody's expecting the final between them, but I'm going to try and mess up plans of most of the people."
Good. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear from him as well. He is going to try and mess up those plans. I know that it's going to be a really tough match against Carlos Alcaraz, but he's under no illusions of what he's facing. He's watched Alcaraz in this tournament. He sees how well he's playing, how much he's growing. He knows it's always a tough match against him. But he did just have a good performance against Taylor Fritz. This last year's finalist, you got to remember that as well. He did get to the final last year. He did lose to Yannick Sinner, as does everybody, it seems, in finals at the moment, other than Alcaraz, just squeezed it in Roland Garros. But a funny thing in this match, I don't know if you saw it. I wasn't sure if this was the branding of Taylor Fritz for the match or if it was something that was an accident. But people noticed. They said Fritz is wearing his headband upside down for his match against Djokovic at the US Open. Said, I guess you have to switch things up when you're 0-10. And then after the match, he said, "What? Yo, why did nobody tell me that shit was backwards?"
I didn't see that actually. That's quite funny.
And then Judy Bouchard said Taylor Fritz's headband was on upside down on purpose, right? And the
I
irony
mean, I
was,
saw it upside down, but I didn't know that he tweeted about it. I thought it was on purpose.
that the third set he put it the right way up and he won the third set.
Ridiculous.
You can't make it up, can you? Sometimes tennis just gives you gifts, I think. But why did no one tell him? I mean, he must have spoken to someone before going out there, and it just was on backwards. Well, at least it's given like Hugo Boss probably happy because there's a lot of attention now on their
Sure.
brand.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think they're upset about it, but does it
yeah.
really matter if it was upside down, if it was inside out, if it was the different color? I think he was still losing this match, and people were saying I was too dismissive on the last episode, saying he's got no chance. Yeah, he doesn't, and I'm happy I said it. I don't think he probably has no chance next year as well if they face off. Novak Djokovic has now become the oldest player to reach the semi-finals of all four slams, and that's something to note. Despite him not
Wow.
playing many tournaments, like I said, he's third in the race, and at every Grand Slam this year, he's made the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So
That's
he is
crazy.
quite clearly the third best player in the world. That's what a semi-final place is, the third best player.
And this, like Jose Morgado says, unreal. Anyone over 50% is pure greatness, but 66.25%, my God. And this is out of the slams he's entered, he's collected 53 semi-finals in 80 appearances. And he's by far the clear at the top there over Bjorn Borg with 60, Roger Federer with 56.79, Rafael Nadal 55.88 there. I saw another statistic as well. It was about him getting to the semi-finals, obviously with that thing that you just said, like the oldest one. Roger Federer apparently only managed to get to all semi-finals the last time in 2009 when he did it. So he was nowhere
Yeah.
near the age of Novak Djokovic for getting all the way. There's going to be people saying, yeah, but the standard of the players back then was all... But, well, you can only beat who's in front of you. And I think the 1990s crew of tennis players on the ATP circuit, they've sort of missed a trick, really, because it's skipped that decade now, and now we've got the 2000 crew, and they're the ones who have taken over. The 1990s are done with. The 1980s were great. The 1990s, nah. Now the 2000s, great again. So, yeah, crazy. Anyway, here's another one for you.
Yeah, Carlos Alcaraz, just 22, but already met the GOAT Novak Djokovic at the Australian Open, Roland Garros, at Wimbledon twice, the US Open Friday, the Olympics, and ATP finals. And you'd be surprised to know, or maybe you're not surprised, that Djokovic has fared probably better than Alcaraz in some of them big matches. Obviously, it's gone the other way too, especially at Wimbledon. But Novak does lead the head-to-head 5-3. He's won their last two meetings at the Olympics and the Australian Open this year, so the only other hard court slam of the year. And Djokovic is 3-0 against Carlos on hard court. So if you put all of that into the picture, it's not looking so bad for Novak Djokovic. But I do feel Carlos, yeah, he's played consistent tennis of his career. He's won 35 of his last 36 matches. The only loss to Yannick Sinner, which can happen, as we know.
Yep.
Both playing fantastic tennis. Djokovic, clearly the third best player in the world. But he's shown that he can produce great results on a hard court against Carlos Alcaraz, and Alcaraz yet to beat him.
Yeah, crazy stats, and so good considering what the head-to-head is like against Yannick Sinner at the moment, and he is just getting dominated by Sinner in the head-to-head and can barely touch him. The fact that he's won, like you see here, he's won 4 out of the last 5 meetings against Alcaraz, and only Wimbledon being the only time when he's lost to him. And he beat him at the last slam they played him, and it was in Australia. So I think we need to get to our prediction, JG. Who's going first?
Yeah, I think you can go first.
Well, people are coming for this. They want to know if I'm sticking to my guns or am I blown away by Carlos Alcaraz? Obviously, in the draw preview, I predicted Djokovic to defeat Alcaraz in the semi-final and meet Yannick Sinner in the final. Based upon what I've seen so far, Alcaraz has been the better player, and I don't think that we're under no illusions of that.
He's changing his mind.
But I think Djokovic has played in the last match a tougher player. So, and I think that is something you have to take into consideration. Obviously, age is a factor as well. Oh, there's just something about this. The stats are swaying me a bit, and I am going to stick to my guns. Probably people in the comments are like, no surprise there. But I'm going to stick to my guns. And I think that he has to win in 4. Because I think if it goes to 5, I don't fancy his chances because Carlos is an absolute beast in 5 sets.
Djokovic isn't bad either. I don't agree with that statement. I think if it does go 5, it's
a few years ago
matchup.
Not for me. I think if a few years ago, I'd say Djokovic would definitely be the favourite in the 5th. Now, I think Carlos has taken his youth and athleticism is far above and beyond Djokovic now.
It's Djokovic though, Ben. I don't write him off in a 5th set ever. You've got to be crazy to do that. We've seen so much tennis over these years, especially doing this podcast. How many live watch-alongs, seeing Djokovic at the business end. You don't write him off in a 5th set, especially not right now when he's been beating everyone on tour apart from Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner. He's still playing a very good high level of tennis. Like you say, Roger Federer only reaching all the semi-finals in 2009. Djokovic is doing it in 2025.
That's crazy.
It does blow you away. For me, my prediction is going to be Carlos Alcaraz. No shock there. I do believe that we will get the Carlos Alcaraz Yannick Sinner final. I think they're just unbelievable, really. Pleasure to watch. Doesn't take too much away from Novak Djokovic because he's already done it all in his career. With that in mind, I'm going to be going for a Carlos Alcaraz victory in 4 sets. I do think Djokovic will take a set. Could even take 2, but I'm going more with a 4-set victory for Carlitos.
Well, there you go. 4 sets we're both going for. I'm going for Djokovic. You're going for Alcaraz. But if Djokovic gets that win, I'm hoping Lorenzo Musetti does too.
Yeah, let us know, guys, what you think in the comment section. Who do you think? Is it going to be Carlos Alcaraz? Is it going to be Novak Djokovic? One thing we can all agree on, they are 2 fantastic players, and it should be a really, really high-level semi-final based off what we've seen so far. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you tomorrow for more tennis action.
Eat him on, Ollie!